Hi guys, welcome. It's Paula, one of your teachers from Fusion Plus Pilates and your coach from 38X Fitness. And today I have with me Morgan, a wonderful holistic counsellor, meditation and yoga teacher. And she's going to share with us some stuff which is really, really cool. And it's a neuroscience brain wellness hack. I got all that right, that's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with myself. And anyway, so Morgan, tell us a bit about yourself, share it with our community.
Sure. Well, it's lovely to be connecting with your community. So I, as you can tell from my accent, I'm from America, but I've been in Australia for 10 years, just got my citizenship this year, which is very exciting. I'm a holistic counselor, I'm also a yoga and meditation teacher. And I've been in the wellness industry for almost 20 years. So a long time. And EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique, often known as tapping, is what I'm going to share with you guys today. And of all the different things I've studied, this is one of the most effective, straight to the point, makes an impact tool for working with our emotions, working with stress management, working with anxiety and overwhelm and all the things. So I'm excited to share it.
Awesome. And can you tell us neuroscientifically, what is EFT?
Yeah, absolutely. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's often called tapping because we gently tap on the hands as well as spots on the face and on the head. Now, when you study the motor cortex, which is part of the prefrontal cortex of our brain, it's the part that is related to our sensory motor response, okay? Now, the areas in our body that have the greatest amount of sensory motor response are the hands and the face. And you know this because we have to make all these tiny little movements with our hands or with our face. So why is this impactful on emotion is the question, or rather, how does it impact our nervous system? When we get stressed out, our limbic brain is firing. So this is our reptilian brain. And it takes us into the fight, flight, or freeze response.
Yeah.
What happens for many of us is that we get triggered into that stress response and stay there chronically. So the stress response, we need it to survive in life. But the problem arises when we get stuck in the stress response, which many of us in the modern world are constantly. And then we feel triggered, and then we don't sleep well. And then the lack of sleep leads to even more sensitivity to anything that we're experiencing, heightened emotion, more stressed, more overwhelmed. So all of us really need to learn tools to control that stress response, to bring it down and to do it quickly and effectively. Otherwise it compounds, and not only does it lead to sleeplessness and all the things I said, but there's so many reports that show how that accumulated high levels of cortisol and stress hormones lead to other illnesses and to chronic inflammation in the body. So essentially tapping on these points gets us out of the limbic brain and into the prefrontal cortex. So as we address the stressor, we inspire a different part of our brain to activate, and we're able to look at the stressor from a different perspective that is not the stress response.
Well, I think I often talk about the neuroscience of the brain, and I talk about that front brain being able to make more conscious decisions. So I think you're right, it's an awesome tool to have. So it's really awesome information. Can we do some?
Yes, let's do some. All right. So we're gonna do a tapping process just on stress, anxiety, overwhelm, because that's kind of the umbrella right now, especially right now in what we're experiencing. So before we get started, I'll just invite you to take a moment and close your eyes. Just take a big breath in and a big breath out, and acknowledge the stress that you're experiencing in life right now, whatever it is. And I want you to notice your physiological response to it. Sometimes there's a tightening of the belly or the chest or the throat, or the heart rate lifted or the shoulders tight. The body is always responding to what's going on in the mind. We can witness our stress in our body always. So just notice that. And then scale it between 1 and 10, 10 being really, really strong, 1 being very weak. What number, how strong is that stress response in your body right now? Good, so if we've all got a number, let's just let your eyes open now. And I'm gonna have you follow along with me. The first point that we tap is the side of the hand. It's often called the karate chop point because you chop a karate block with it. Good, so all of these points are also acupressure points. If you've ever had acupuncture, we're working the meridian lines as well. The second point is on the crown of your head. So you can just tap right on the crown of your head.
Oh, we're doing synchronized swimming.
I know, this is kind of fun watching this. The next point is in between your eyebrows. Perfect. The next point's the temples, so tapping the sides of the eyes. And then below the eyes. So as we're doing this already, we're stimulating that prefrontal cortex below the nose. That area that Paula said enables us to think more clearly, problem solve, and make better decisions. Tapping the chin. Good. And then I like using both hands just below your collarbones. Perfect. And then the last spot is the front of the ribs right here. Perfect. So we're gonna come back to the side of the hands, and I'm gonna encourage you to close your eyes. I'll guide you through all of the points, and if you get lost, just open them. I'm doing them with you. And I want you to repeat out loud after me. Even though I feel the stress.
Even though I feel the stress.
Right now, I'm supporting myself.
Right now, I am supporting myself.
Even though I feel overwhelmed.
Even though I feel overwhelmed.
I have the power to call myself present.
I have the power to call myself present.
Even though I feel this anxiety.
Even though I feel this anxiety.
I choose to support myself.
I choose to support myself.
With love.
With love.
And acceptance.
And acceptance.
And forgiveness.
And forgiveness.
Good. Tapping the top of the head. And so the first thing we do is really just acknowledge what we're feeling. So repeating after me, all this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
In between the eyebrows. There's so much pressure.
So much pressure.
Side of the eye. So many things I have to do.
So many things I have to do.
So many responsibilities.
So many responsibilities.
Below the eye. It feels really stressful.
It feels really stressful.
Even though it feels stressful.
Even though it feels really stressful.
I'm choosing to witness myself.
I'm choosing to witness myself.
With compassion.
With compassion.
Below the nose. I choose to approach myself with compassion.
I choose to approach myself with compassion.
Tapping the chin. All of these challenges.
All of these challenges.
I'm holding with patience.
I'm holding with patience.
Below the collarbones. And compassion for myself.
And compassion for myself.
As I work through all of these stressors.
As I work through all of these stressors.
Front of the ribs. Even though I feel stressed and overwhelmed.
Even though I feel stressed and overwhelmed.
I know there's nothing wrong with me.
I know there's nothing wrong with me.
This is a natural response.
This is a natural response.
And a common response.
And a calming response.
When there's a lot of change.
When there is a lot of change.
Top of the head. Even though this stress response is overwhelming.
Even though this stress response is overwhelming.
I have the power to shift it.
I have the power to shift it.
in between the eyebrows. I can shift this stress response.
I can shift this stress response
with a deep breath.
With a deep breath.
Side of the eye. I can shift the stress response.
I can shift the stress response
by calling myself present.
By calling myself present.
Below the eye. I am here.
I'm here.
Right now.
Right now.
Below the nose. And everything is okay.
And everything is okay.
Tapping the chin. I can lower the stress response.
I can lower the stress response.
By being compassionate.
By being compassionate.
With myself.
With myself.
And others.
And others.
Below the collarbones. I choose compassion.
I choose compassion.
I choose love.
I choose love.
I choose acceptance.
I choose acceptance.
And forgiveness.
And forgiveness.
Rest both hands over the center of your heart, one on top of the other, right at the center of your chest. And take a deep breath into the center of your chest. And a big sigh out. 2 more like that, breathing in space. Breathing out any pressure. 1 more, big inhale. Big exhale. We're just gonna do one last little bit. You can keep your eyes open or closed, up to you. Take the gaze up and to the right. And just say, I choose compassion.
I choose compassion.
Bring the eyes back to center. Take the eyes up and to the left. I choose patience.
I choose patience.
Eyes back to center. Eyes down to the bottom right corner. I choose acceptance.
I choose acceptance.
Eyes back to center. Eyes down and to the left. I choose gratitude.
I choose gratitude.
Eyes to center. And then roll your eyes all the way up as though you're going to look at a big clock and it's 12 o'clock. Take the eyes, start slowly moving them towards 3. Tap the back of your left hand with your right hand. Good, keeping the hand resting over the chest. Keep the eyes moving from 3 all the way down to 6. And just repeating after me, witnessing the stress.
Witnessing the stress.
Keep rolling the eyes towards 9 o'clock, slowly saying, I am not this stress.
I am not this stress.
Letting the eyes roll slowly up to the 12. I'm only experiencing it.
I'm only experiencing it.
Taking the eyes counterclockwise now, rolling them slowly to 9. Witnessing the stress with compassion.
Witnessing the stress with compassion.
Lowering the eyes towards 6. I am so much more than this stress.
I am so much more than this stress.
Keep drawing the eyes slowly towards 3. I choose to focus on that.
I choose to focus on that.
Keep rolling the eyes to 12 slowly. I choose to focus on love and compassion.
I choose to focus on love and compassion.
Patience and acceptance.
Patience and acceptance.
One more time, both hands over the center of the chest. Take a deep breath in. And a big open mouth sigh. One more like that. Breathing in compassion, patience, and love. And breathing out all the stress or the anxiety. Maybe just one more breath like that for good measure. And a big sigh. And then just letting the hands relax. Keep the eyes closed for a moment. Scan your body. Observe how you feel. Compare how you feel right now to what we checked in on at the beginning, where that stress was living in your body. And just notice if that number has gone down for you. And then we can rub our hands together And just sweep your hands over your face as you open your eyes. Good work. So how was that for you?
Amazing, actually. It's my first body tapping experience, I have to say, so I was very excited. And I woke up with a really weird shoulder this morning. It was quite tight, and when I was doing yin before, I could feel it really tight. And when we did that from 1 to 10,
Yes.
I could feel this a lot of tension in my neck, and then as I scanned my body just then, there was no tension.
That's amazing.
Yeah, felt really good. I think with the deep
Wonderful.
breath and the tapping,
That's
really
it.
amazing. Yeah.
And so this is the thing, like the body responds, obviously our nervous system is sending our body messages.
Yeah.
And if we're in the chronic stress state, it's saying you're not safe, things aren't safe, and we start tightening up, being ready to fight, flight, and freeze. Then we injure ourselves and all of this. So the tapping of the body, it seems so simple and it seems kind of weird. Like, I'll be honest, when I first started doing it, I was like, this is strange. But it just has such a quick impact because it forces you out of that. Now, I want to share with your community another one of my favorite ways to use this. So you can squeeze the sides of your fingers and all the meridian lines in here, and as we said, the hand. So this is a really useful one to do if you're at a dinner, maybe with your family, and you get a little triggered, or if you're at a meeting and you have to say something and you're suddenly feeling really nervous, your hands can just go under that table and you just squeeze the tips of your fingers. It brings you present. So it's called somatic stimulation. And you can even do it like this, and you just have it and nobody will notice. And you take 3 deep breaths, and it will force you out of the limbic brain over firing. So, or even doing this one. So do the fingertips, and it can be a really good way. And it's funny to think about as well, like how you watch people's body language, and when people are trying to think, we know this. There's different little things that people do. They actually touch their face, touch their head, touch their hands.
It's like a nervous position without realizing
subconsciously, because it stimulates this prefrontal cortex where we want to be engaging with life from more often.
Well, you are so generous for spending time with me and sharing that. And guys, I really want you to engage in this. So ask any questions. Morgan is really about giving her time to you. So if you want to ask questions, and she'll get back to you, and you can get sorted and come along, because it is amazing. Even just sitting next to her, I feel calm. Which I know for a lot of you would know, oh, she's never calm. Well, there you go. So I'm feeling really calm sitting next to Morgan. So please comment below, and then we can get you sorted. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Colin.